Welcome to this interesting session on MSP Lead Generation. So for this session, we have a very interesting and a person who's very experienced here in this field. So we have Louis with us. Louis was a senior sales and marketing manager at an international MSP, and then he went out to start his own agency and is now the CEO of MSP Launchpad, having worked with some of the biggest MSPs in the world. So Louis has the experience of doing digital marketing for MSPs completely. So I'll now pass it on to Louis for this interesting session. So we'll have a Q&A towards the end of the session, and we'll have 2 polls in the middle as well. So if you have anything other than that you'd like to know as well, please let us know in the chat box. Over to you, Louis.
Awesome. So Sriram, also thank you very much for having me, right? I'm excited to be here and to be able to talk to MSP owners, 40 of them. I know how busy you guys are, right? I collaborate with business owners all day, every day. And what I've done is made sure that your time will not be wasted. So I really just loaded this webinar so full of tip and tricks and advanced tactics. I think you guys are going to suck it up. I think it's going to be awesome. Okay, so let me see if I can share my screen. Getting there. Moment. Okay, let me see. Okay, guys, give me a yes in the chat if you can see this, please. All right, so I'll just move myself around a little. So let me introduce myself a little bit. Just because, then you guys know who I am. So my name is Louis, and I'm the founder of MSP Launchpad. And MSP Launchpad is a digital marketing agency focused on creating inbound leads for MSPs, right? So it's the kind that is looking for you, trying to buy your stuff. We found that to be much more effective than trying to call strangers. And we really built our own model around this after I successfully implemented this for an international multinational MSP, right? So we've been around for 3.5 years, really focused on search engine work, and love what we do. We've been growing really, really fast. I think we're like the only MSP marketing agency that hasn't been slammed, absolutely destroyed yet on Reddit. It's kind of proud of. But yeah, this is basically us. So for this presentation, you can see that we don't have a lot of slides, but we do have a lot of information in a mind map that I'll show you. But first, of course, so why would you listen to us, right? So, and I think the best reason to listen to us is just because we get results, right? Getting results for MSPs is very, 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 very tricky. I'm sure lots of you have been burned by marketing agencies in the past. And it's just tough because the lifetime value of a contract of an MSP is so incredibly high. Right, you're looking at, if you're signing up a customer, let's say they are $5,000 a month. Let's say they stick around for 5 years. 5 times 12 times 5 is $300,000 in revenue. That's not profit, but depending on your profit margin, let's say it's 20%. That's $60K in profits, right, for just adding one client. So that means that if a client is worth $60K in profit, kind of like on average, then it means that leads are really valuable as well. Right? Say that one lead, you need 4 leads to convert one from cold traffic, just making up numbers now you can see, but it means that a lead's worth like 10 to 15 grand. So to make a long story short, loads of people will sell you the moon. Yo, we're just going to send out an email blast and you're going to get like 30,000 leads this month. Or actually, I hear this number a lot. We're going to give you 30 leads this month. Smoke and mirrors. I'm sorry. Like MSP marketing needs to be done right, because MSPs all know that digital marketing works, and in digital marketing, only the number one wins. I mean, at least that's my point on it. So we always strive to be number one, and you should too. If you're gonna do digital marketing, you play to be number one, or you just don't start and you stay with things like the BNI Chamber of Commerce, which to me are some of the things I love the most, right? Okay, so we get results, basically. That's good. So for this session, there's not a lot of time, and there is a lot that I'm gonna show you. So I'd really suggest you do yourself a favor and just turn off your phone and just stick to the screen. And I really suggest you do that right now. Just turn off your phone so you don't get interrupted, because these 30 minutes, this level of data, there's going to be at least 10 things here that you didn't know. Let's put it like that. Okay, so as you can see in the little table of contents we had, I was going to blast you with all sorts of hacks and tricks. So let's do that, right? So get blasted. It's time for you to learn a lot about what's going on. Okay, so I'm going to drag the chat here so I can actually see what you guys are saying. You guys still interested? You guys can see the mind map? Just give me a quick yes if you can see the mind map, please. All right, cool. Thank you for sticking with me here. So as you can see, this is not a small mind map, right? And this morning I was like, what's useful for these guys? And then I kind of just like brain dumped this for you into a mind map. So the things that we're going to be discussing is, of course, the juicy stuff that everyone wants, right? What are the quickest gains? So I'll give you that, right? And also the quickest gains also comes with a little bit of a rundown of how inbound marketing for MSP works and where you get the traffic from and what makes you money. So we're going to go out of this mind map one time only to show you this stuff. And then we're going to stick in the mind map and I'm just going to like walk you through here because we only got like 30 minutes, right? So, and as you can see, there's a lot of stuff here. So our expertise really is SEO, Google Ads, we do some branding, conversion-focused website design. So I'm going to stick to what I know. And I'm not saying there's not other methods to generate leads, right? There's other agencies, other competencies. I'm sure that there are other valid things out there, but I'm just going to show you what works for us. I'm not saying this is the holy grail, but this works for us, right? Everyone cool with that? So question, will you be able to share the mind map? Yeah, actually, I already thought of that. I thought it'd be real helpful. So I'll make sure to share that with Sriram, and then I think he'll be able to send that out, or I might even be able to put a link in the chat at the end of this conversation. Okay, guys. So I tried using the presentation form for this mind map, but I found it to be a little bit clumsy. So I'm just going to browse through using my mouse. But basically, everyone here wants to hear about the quickest gains first, right? But in order for us to talk about the quickest gains, first you got to understand a little bit about how the search engine works. So I'm just going to pump in here and open a tab and then make this a little bit bigger. I'm not sure what resolution you guys are on, but I'm sure there are some people rocking 15 inches or 16 inches. And obviously my monitor here is a little bit bigger. So I'm going to try and zoom in a little for you guys. If it's too large, I apologize. But I just did a random search, right? So I just pumped in IT support New York. You could type IT support whatever in the world. You're usually going to get the same results, right? And this is really critical. I won't take too long, but if you don't get this, then you won't get inbound marketing. So it's a fundamental thing. Here on the top, we have the ads. Everyone knows them. You might still be old school enough that you like go past the ads for the original results, right? Like when this stuff started opening up, Windows 95 and Windows 3.1, and like when did Google get hot? Like the late 90s or something from memory. Anyway, so you have the ads on top, and ads are cool. I freaking love them. I'm going to talk about them in this webinar as well. But what you need to know is that about 15 to 20% of all the clicks goes here, right? So that means that 2 out of 10 people, they click on the ads. And ads are cool because you can turn them on and they can start generating leads, provided you have the entire system, right? Now we have this cool little thing here. And this is the map pack. That's like industry slang. I might use industry slang by accident. I know how a lot of MSPs say no geek speak. I'm terrible at that. I use geek speak all the time. So if there's something you don't understand, just put it in the chat, okay? Okay, so here we have this map pack. And then here we have some businesses underneath. Now, this map pack only shows up if it's a query that you put in the search engine that indicates you want to do business with a business or you're trying to find a business, right? Otherwise, this stuff doesn't show up. Oh, my voice keeps fluctuating. Does everyone have that? I'm getting loads of yeses. That's not particularly good. Does it sound like my internet connection is breaking up or? Okay, I'm getting some no's as well. I'm fine, sounds good. Okay, I mean, I hope so. Like this is a Joe Rogan level microphone, so just volume goes up and down. Ooh, okay, that's Zoom. That's Zoom doing that. Sorry about that, guys. Like, because Zoom automatically adjusts. Yeah, let me see if I can hook you up with that. Give me one moment. Here, come here. Give me that. Audio settings, automatically adjust microphone level, volume, bam, done. Okay, so this is better, right? Okay, guys, thanks for making me aware of that. Let's continue. So we have the map here, and this map only shows up when a business is if you're like trying to find a business to do business with. So you usually use this when you're like going for Italian food or something, right? You're going for Italian food. What do? You go to Google Maps, you type Italian restaurants, and it's going to show the Italian restaurants around you. Now that's relevant. Why? Because this local map pack is local SEO. So it's going to show stuff that's close to you. That means that if you're searching for an Italian restaurant, it's going to show Italian restaurants close to you, unless there is this amazing Italian restaurant like 10 kilometers, 7 miles away. So it's going to show stuff close to you unless there's something amazing out there. And good marketing agencies will make sure that the range in which you show up increases, right? 60 to 70% of all the clicks go here. This is where MSPs make their money. This is the zone. You want to be here in the ads. You want to be here in local SEO. There's a lot of things influencing this. We'll talk about that a little bit later. And then here we have the traditional search engine, right? 15 to 20% of the clicks. This means that only 1, maybe 2 people out of every 10 still click on the stuff using traditional SEO, right? Let that sink in for a bit. So we're always hunting that traditional SEO stuff, but only 1 in 10, 2 in 10 people even click it. And there's like, everyone's trying to rank for all of this. And if you're in position 6 out of 10 or 7 out of 10, you're like, no one's going to click it. It's just the search engine is constantly evolving, especially this year. It's been nuts. So you got to be position 1 or you can forget about it, right? Okay, so remember the numbers, 15 to 20, 60 to 70, 15 to 20. So you want to optimize for this. Okay, so then how would you optimize for that? We're going to talk about that now. Going back to our little mind map. Okay, so the quickest gains that you can make with your MSP is by optimizing your Google Business Profile. This is going to make sure that you show up locally, right? MapX gets 60 to 70% of the clicks. Okay, so write this stuff down or whatever. This is something that no one does, and it's critical to get ranked, right? List all your services. So in the past, Google would put this front and center inside the Google Business Profile. Now it's just in the backlog, at least right now, because Google changes mind all the time. But you need to go inside your Google Business Profile and you need to dump all your services in there. I'm talking, don't be shy, put 50 services or something, analyze your competitors, do that. Also your title, if you have your IT firm, right, you have your MSP, you can put keywords in there. Google says don't do it. Everyone does it. If you don't do it, you have a disadvantage. Just do it, right? So you didn't hear it from me, but you did hear it from me. Just put IT support, managed IT services and support, dump some keywords in there. If you're going to an Italian restaurant, you're like, huh, this Italian restaurant stuff again? Yes, the Italian restaurant stuff again. Because there's also people using Google Maps. And on Google Maps, people are trying to find you, typing IT support. Just like with an Italian restaurant, you're not going to want to see stock imagery of basic Italian foods, right? You'd be like, why is this Italian restaurant showing me generic pictures of pasta? It doesn't make any sense, right? If you want people to reach out to you, what you're going to put on your profile is images of like server installations that you've done, nice cabling jobs, pictures of the team, you shaking hands with other business owners, etc. Is that all clear? Does everyone understand this? Like, this sounds basic, but this is the stuff that immediately gives you a return, right? Like local SEO gives result 10 times as quick as global. Okay. You need to get your testimonials up. They help to get you ranked there. So these services need to be there to get you ranked. The title is there to get you ranked. The personal photos is for when you're ranked already. Call your customers for testimonials, get them. Maybe they can put IT support in there, managed IT services, that might help. And if they can put it from their phone, even better, because then it also uploads all the data to Google that it comes from a phone in a certain location, which helps with local SEO, right? Local SEO is very DA dependent. DA stands for domain authority. Unfortunately, domain authority is a metric that you can find in marketing tools, and it basically means how much Google trusts you. right? This stuff matters. The problem with it is that every marketing tool has its own arbitrary way to calculate this stuff. Google doesn't release this information, so marketing tools are just guessing. But if you just use one good tool, I recommend SEMrush. It's a little expensive, but it's the best one. You'll be able to see what domain authority the competitors are having so that you can get your domain authority that high as well. It's necessary to get you ranked. We'll talk a little bit more about this later. Okay. You also need to be in business directories, right? So you'd be like, oh, why do I need to be in business directories? It's SEMrush, Khaled. SEMRUSH, SEMrush. This is major. Citation building is major to get ranked. And citation building is like business directories, Yelp, expertise, Chamber of Commerce. You need to be everywhere. Try to get into 150, 200. The more local, the better, right? That's it. Yeah, thanks, Michael. So if you want to build these citations, ChatGPT is coming to save you, right? Go to ChatGPT, make sure you have ChatGPT 4, say, hi, I have an MSP in location X, right? I want to build my citation portfolio and I want to be in as many local business indexes as possible because I want to increase my local SEO presence. Which business directories do you advise? Give me more, right? Go for it. Like, just use ChatGPT. This stuff is pretty powerful. Like, it's marketing agencies behind the scenes are using it as well because there's going to be local business directories that's just super easy to find through ChatGPT, right? There are business directories that you can pay for, like Yelp, Expertise, a few others, and they will squeeze you for money. Like, they will charge you $100, $400, maybe one time, maybe once a month. But the thing is, they boost DA like crazy. So if you do that, that might actually, just paying one of these guys might be the difference between ranking locally or not, right? Major hack. This can take like 2, 3, 4 months of your ranking process sometimes. So everything I'm saying here, like this, everything makes a massive impact. Okay, so here we have it. Paid DA can give a lot more DA and really shortcuts results. Guys, local SEO, we're going to move on now because we only have 30 minutes. Everyone like this content so far? Is this valuable? Awesome, guys. Glad to see it. Yeah, my pleasure. My pleasure. Happy to help. Okay, so website. Your website, right? Just some fundamental understanding that you need to have. As an MSP, you take care of technology. You take care of IT infrastructure. A normal human, a normal business owner is not very good at understanding the difference between IT infrastructure and websites and website design and all that stuff, right? You've spoken with your customers 100 times. They don't really get that IT isn't one big pot and that you are not supposed to be good at everything. They just think that you know everything, right? A normal business owner is always, without fault, going to assume you built your own website every single time. So if your website looks sloppy, out of touch, out of date, they will assume that the service that you're going to provide is also going to be sloppy, out of date, poorly managed, etc. Right? Not a nice slice of reality to get, but it is a slice of reality, and I'm just here to be transparent with you guys, right? Having a good website gives them the impression that you're masters of technology. Like, whoa, look at this modern website. These guys must be amazing, right? Whereas if you have a website from 2016, some dried up WordPress templates, and you're like, these guys don't even care about their own digital presence enough. Why would they care about my technology? So getting a good website is priority numero uno. You want to have that stuff dialed in. If your website is really ugly, you can be saved by having lots of amazing social proof, testimonials, certifications, your partners, maybe you're a Microsoft Gold partner, even a Silver partner, dump it on there, right? It helps. Photos matter. Like what we're finding is that on our customers' websites, photos can decrease the cost of a lead by like 30% or something, right? That's huge. Can be the difference between being profitable or not profitable in your campaigns, right? Why does it matter so much? If you have a small business like you do, like I do, right? MSP Launchpad's about 20 people, not like you're going to have varying sizes. If you have a small business and you have a local office and you're the CEO and you've been building that and it's like, it's your baby, and there's 20, 30, 40, 50 people in that office, you are going to care about who is going to enter that environment because you created that vibe and you want that vibe to stay nice. So that means that for smaller MSPs, if you're attracting, smaller clients, let's say 20 to 50 endpoint range, you got to have those photos up there because these business owners want to see who's going to be entering their office. Makes a huge difference. So photos must have, like everyone has a friend with the DSLR camera, right? Put them to work or just pay for a professional photo shoot. It's like the best ROI you'll ever get. Trust me. Also, something related to copywriting on your website. People care more about solving pain than about having this amazing future. But it kind of depends on the size of the business that you're speaking to. If you're speaking to businesses that have below 50 endpoints, so let's call them smaller MSP clients, these people just want to have their pain resolved, right? But larger clients, 50 plus, let's say 100, 150 endpoints, those are the ones that you're offering the shiny future. Those are the ones that you're promising the efficiency gains, right? Those are the ones that want the VCIO, right? They're the one that need it. The smaller ones need to have their pain resolved, and that's what you're primarily there for. So think about who your target market is and which problem they want you to solve, right? Sounds basic, but it's pretty fundamental, and people go over that stuff all the time. They just skip it. So same for like clear buttons, clear forms, clear calls to action, they call it. Just make sure that people can find everything easily on your website. Okay, so I know this is heavily summarized, but half an hour, got to touch a little bit on everything. Everyone still liking this? Can you type a yes in the chat if you're liking it? Sweet. All right, thanks, guys. So Google Ads, you can see this is a little bit more of a chunky boy. So this is just straight up tactics, okay? So just make note of everything here. It will save you a ton of money. Like I've literally put $10,000 worth of value here. So Google Ads, let's go up. Time and time again. Ralph, yeah, I think Sriram will be making one. So time and time again, when we are interacting with people who want us to grow their MSP, like it's a really common misconception and kind of understandable that people want to start small and then scale up their Google Ads. What we found is that the reverse is much more effective. You want to start with the better Google Ads budget, and then as SEO kicks in, you want to wean off Google Ads or just keep it on, right? It really depends up to you and what you prefer and cost, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But starting with a small amount of Google Ads is just going to drain your soul. Remember that I said that a lead was worth like $10,000, $15,000 very regularly, right? Qualified leads, not junk. I mean, like people coming in 20, 30 endpoints saying, I want IT support. This stuff, like it's worth a lot of money because you'll convert 1 into 2, 3, 4. So if these leads cost so much money, do you think that other MSPs will go to Google Ads and pay good money to get those leads? Yes, they will, which means that you also need to pay a lot to be visible. Now, fortunately for us, a lot of websites are very poorly optimized. So there's like, they don't want to spend maybe as much, right? They go a little bit lower and just kind of like stop there. Because for a lot of people, if your website isn't very organized, at some point you don't want to invest more because the leads don't become profitable anymore, right? So if you have a very dialed in website, that means that you can outbid your competitors and you can soak up the deals in the market, right? That's the goal. You want to make sure that you soak up the deals and not other people, right? So you want your website to be better optimized. So start high. Also, the algorithm needs to learn and stuff. Like you really want to start. I mean, it really depends on your market, but I know you guys want to hear some numbers. We hardly ever recommend starting below $3,000 a month. Like hardly ever. A number that's a lot more comfortable is 5K. So just like, does that shock you? Well, I mean, that's unfortunately, if someone is suggesting you start lower, don't trust that person. They likely don't have experience in the market, right? Check if they have experience in the market. If they do, then maybe listen, but check if they have experience in the market because MSPs are like completely different beasts. I'm not sure How many of you have been inside Google Ads? But there's basically 3 ways that you can bid, right? Put money towards a keyword. One of them is a broad match word, which is just like, hey, I kind of want to bid on this, which is IT support. And Google finds stuff that is related to that word and just bid on everything, right? Then there's phrase match, which is like you focus on a center, like IT support, and then all the stuff behind it, like small business, locations, and so on. Right now, as long as it has that word, IT support, then you also want to bid on that. That's a phrase match. Exact match just means like, that's the word, that's what I want to bid on. Don't you dare do anything else. It will still do a little bit of else, but it's not supposed to, but it will, because Google wants your money. So broad match will absolutely freaking destroy you. Chris, you're lucky. I'm addressing that later in this presentation. Like this is info you're not gonna get anywhere else. I guarantee it. So broad match will absolutely destroy you. Never, ever, 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 ever do it, right? Just don't, okay? Phrase match is great, but you need to have a negative keyword list dialed in. So this negative keyword list is going to save you from all the stuff that people like to use words like free and how to and so on. That's not really indicating they want to do business with a business. Exact match is great. I love it. I build it all the time, but the volume is a little bit lower, obviously, right? But phrase match is great with the negative keyword list, and exact match is also great. Broad match will suck you dry in seconds. Don't do it, okay? Something else you don't want to do, never listen to a Google rep on calls, ever, 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 ever. Just don't do it. Yeah, Google gives notoriously bad service. Like, it's a nightmare. So you can see I speak from the heart. It's like, oh man, it's like Google is absolutely terrible at responding to stuff and can take weeks to get a response. Anyway, don't listen to Google Ads on the phone. And it's because they're going to take your money, and they have no idea what they're suggesting, and they don't know anything about your market. Just never, ever listen to Google reps. Just don't, no matter how convincing they sound. 30K a month to own Manhattan is very possible. Yeah. Like, I have to double check that, but that sounds about right to me. So in fact, don't also take recommendations from Google in the portal. Google will recommend, hey, your ad looks pretty optimized, but if you increase your budget, it's going to be even more optimized, right? Or you should try broad match. It's really going to make you rich. You're going to have more conversions. No, you're not. Google's recommendations are awful. 99% of the time, it's just there to take your money. So what you want to do is you want to say, like, okay, show me what you're recommending, and then dismiss it, because then your ad quality goes back up, right? They just want you to dismiss it so to bring your score back up. So the correct way to start your campaigns is to start using, I'm saying here, max is not correct. You want to start by setting your own cost, your own bits per click. And you want to start with things like max clicks with a really nice, clean keyword list to get some conversions going. If you're going to start with something that they recommend, like max conversions, it's going completely out of control. They'll just take your money, right? It works, but first you got to get some conversions. So Google understands what you want to do on your website. Otherwise, they're just going to juice you, and they will charge like $80 a click or something like that. Like, be careful. So what you want to do is you want to start your bidding low, depending on your location. You'll be able to find this information in Google itself. You'll be able to find it in tools like SEMrush. How high should you roughly bid? Start on the lower end and just see if you get the clicks, right? And then if you don't get the clicks, maybe add a few dollars. Don't be too impatient. Take a week and a half, maybe even 2 weeks before you maybe add $1 to each click price, right? And if you're getting good volume and good traction, don't destroy it by just going too over the top with your budget. So if you're spending, let's say, 3, 4, 5 grand a month and it's going great, don't increase it to 1,000, right? To 10,000, add 20%, small increments, okay? Okay, so here we go, guys. It's all about the negative keyword list. Well, it's also about the keywords, but negative keyword list is really, really important. So I'm going to give you some general tips. Again, this was a brain dump from me this morning, so it's a little bit unstructured, but this is the stuff where I find that Google will take your money, So universities, if people search on Google Ads for IT support, there's always local universities, and they just type, university IT support, and then they click the top thing, and then poof, there goes your $8, right? So you want to scrape all the universities in your area, and then you want to put those in your negative keyword list, right? Sometimes the universities have like a a city name or an area name in it. So you have to be careful with that those names of those areas don't enter the negative keyword list, because something like IT support location can convert really, really well. So you take all the universities in your area and then you clean out the locations and then you dump that in your negative keyword list. But wait, there's more. You also want to go to ChatGPT and tell these guys like, hey, these are the universities. What are the acronyms? What are the abbreviations of these universities? Because it might be UCA or whatever. And then they will type IT support UCA, but you only put the entire name of the university in there. Sorry, there goes another click, right? So also put all of this stuff in there. Same for hospitals, like all the governmental organizations that might offer IT support or where IT support is often found. ChatGPT the hell out of them and then put it all in your negative keyword list, right? There's also a lot of people, you're also going to lose clicks, IT support, when people then typed another MSP's name, right? You want to scrape all the MSPs in your area from something like Google Maps. You can use a software like Phantom Buster for that. Scrape all the MSPs in your area and put all of them in your negative keyword list. But again, make sure that words like IT support, managed services, etc., that stuff's not in there, right? You just want to have the names. And if they have like blah, blah, blah service IT support, make sure that you just have the blah, blah, blah inside your negative keyword list. I know I'm going pretty fast here, but are you guys getting a lot of value from this? Can you give me a quick yes in the chat? See if I still have your attention. All right, guys, good to see. So in the negative keywords list, hey, Yus, good to see you. So in the negative keywords list, the way that negative keywords are structured, the broad match, phrase match, and exact match that I earlier talked about, they don't work exactly the same. And if you take, you can just dump it inside the negative keyword lists without the abbreviations or without the brackets, and you'll be fine. So just put it in there. It kind of works like a phrase match. You don't necessarily need to be very strict with that. Just dump it in there and don't put the abbreviations or the brackets, okay? And then if you see something is not working for whatever reason, you can always try to add a little bit to it, but I find that you can do it without, and it just keeps it a little bit extra clean. Okay, so here's some golden tips. You want to ChatGPT the hell out of this thing, all right? So let's say that you tell it, like, hey, these are the keywords that I want to use for my MSP. I'm bidding in this area. I want to get leads for my MSP, right? Give me all the negative keywords that you can come up with to make sure that I don't get spam or people that aren't interested or are not ready to buy. Then ChatGPT is gonna give you like 50 keywords. Then you say, you're not done yet. You know more, right? Give me more. And then, right? And it will give you another rinse. But then you want to get a little bit more specific, because at some point, ChatGPT gets a little bit dry on creativity. So you'll say stuff like, you're going to ask it to think broader about these negative keywords, right? You're going to ask it something that I've said here. So what you've done so far doesn't include the stuff like how to IT support, right? Can you also take that into account and make sure that that part of the spectrum is covered? All the queries related to them trying to figure it out themselves without paying a marketing vendor. So in this case, you would probably say IT support vendor, right? Whoop. Bam. So then it will give you that spectrum. It will give you a lot of stuff on the how-tos, like guide, how-to, and so on. And that again goes in your negative keyword list. Then you also want to do something like what kind of institutions offer IT support, that I should also put the negative keyword list. Then you're going to have multiple spectrums, and then you're going to ask it like, hey, now we've covered this part of the spectrum, right? The do-it-yourself side of things. With other similar spectrums are there? I can imagine 2 more, the free spectrum and the job and career spectrum. Please suggest many of these spectrums that could generate non-converting traffic. And then it's going to think creatively about spectrums like maybe social media or whatever that really brings up like spectrums that you can dive in further and further enhance your negative keyword list. So I don't have all this stuff handy because we just have our base lists already, and then we augment it with the local stuff, right? So we, of course, this is already done, but this is, if I was an MSP, this is how I would do it. You can easily get a 500 word list, right? And then if you combine that with the IT support list, with the phrase mat list, with your keywords and stuff, then you're going to be in a position where your traffic is 1 million times more clean than most MSPs, right? And that allows you to bid a little bit more per click, allows you to get that traffic, right? Good. So what do I mean by this? Focus on the big three. So what I mean is the keywords that generate the most money are the phrase match and exact match, just giving this stuff to you, IT support, IT services, and managed IT services, right? These three keywords, especially like phrase match and exact match, will give you the most money. So as an example, that could mean small business IT support, right? Because it's a phrase match. So it can have stuff around IT support. So small business IT support and so on. So if you have a good negative keyword list, it's just going to have like really nice, clean search terms for your keywords. And that's what you want, because you don't want to bid on stuff that doesn't have very high converting potential, right? And also, if you want to not go direct into selling managed IT services, right? Most people, they just want to sell MSP services. But another thing that we found converts really well and also upsells effectively into MSP services, stuff related to compliance, right? HIPAA, FINRA, all this stuff in like medical, and CPR is finance, that's in Australia, and medical in Australia. Well, anyway, you can do good work with keywords on compliance, and that will also upsell into managed services. Okay, so ChatGPT is your friend. Tracking is not 100%. Like people always ask, like, hey, you know, why isn't tracking 100%? And it's because it's just not, right? This is why very expensive services like Hyros exist that will take $24,000 a year just to improve your tracking, right? Google isn't perfect, Facebook isn't perfect, etc. So you might not be able to track every conversion 100%, but just make sure that you have something in place to track your phone calls. So software that you can do for use for this is CallRail. And there's also a software called Go High Level that you can use. Actually, the Tech Tribe, everyone who here knows the Tech Tribe? Can I get some yeses? Right? Tech Tribe is cool. I like the Tech Tribe. So the Tech Tribe also has kind of like a free software, kind of like a free CRM. I've forgotten exactly what they call it, but that is Go High Level, and it's pretty good stuff. So you can just go there and grab it, right? I'm not sure exactly what to call it. Who knows what it's called in the Tech Tribe? Growably. Thank you, Rich. Yeah. Okay, guys, so we talked about Google Ads. Why didn't I talk yet about Microsoft Ads? It's because I hate Microsoft Ads with my entire body and soul, right? Microsoft Ads are evil, and how they conduct their business should actually be illegal. They do not care. If you tell them, I want to sell an Apple, they will start bidding on keywords related to sports cars. Like, it is nuts, and I'm sad to say I'm not exaggerating. It's like that level of thing actually happens there. So not only that, they will automatically put your ads on hundreds of spam websites. And you really need to know this, and you need to dig deep inside the infrastructure to turn it off and ban individual networks and websites. In the past, you could just say, I only want to advertise on Microsoft websites. So they would still force you to also show your ads on Amazon and a few others. Now they don't even have that option anymore. They will just like spam you to death with really low quality websites. So Microsoft Ads, avoid, unless you're an experienced marketer. Only use exact match. You're going to throw all your money away if you do phrase. And you got to go in there. You need to be a hawk when you use that stuff. You need to be on there looking at it every 2 days to clean it up. It is a mess, right? So yeah, I wish it was better. Unfortunately, it's not. So here's some other cool tips for Google Ads. So what we like to do is we like to take the advertising spend that you have and put it in a range around your business. So let's say that you have 5K a month. We're going to try to spend that 5K in, let's say, a 3, 4, 5 mile radius around your business, or 3, 4, 5 kilometers. And if we notice the radius is too small to spend your entire budget, then we expand the radius a little. Why? Leads convert much better if you're closer to them, right? You also build a narrative around this, of course, right? You can advertise in certain cities and then say, hey, we're from this city, right? Yes, sure, you can run the first poll after the ad section, no problem whatsoever. So you can build these local pages and really show the local square and the local landmarks and you in that local environment to say, like, we're from here, we are the local experts, we've been doing this for 20 years, right? Like, if you want a company that is small and boutique but still has the highest level of cybersecurity, etc., whatever your narrative is, come to us, we're just around the corner. But that doesn't work if you're advertising 10 miles away, 20 miles away. So now you need a different landing page. You say, like, yes, we're 20 miles away, but in your area, like, there's no one offering this value for money, right? And when it comes down to it, we'll just drive there and we'll be there in 50 minutes, but we are so sure that you will only have to see us once a month anyway, or maybe even less, because we install everything to 100% perfection, right? So different narratives depending on which location you advertise in, all right? You can advertise all hours, loads of people, loads of business owners work evenings, right? You don't have to advertise 9 to 5, 9 to 6. Our ads are running around the clock, love it, works like a charm, right? You must invest in software that protects you against fake clicks. Fake clicks will cost you $1,000, $2,000 a month. I am not exaggerating. Whenever you install this, you're immediately going to have a positive ROI. Like, it's the first thing you do and you make your money back for the first 10 months of the software in month 1. Always get this software, right? We save for every single client without exception $1,000 a month minimum because we have this software. Okay, sure. Nuke the poll, please.
Yeah, yes, Louis, yeah. Hope everyone's been enjoying the webinar so far. Just a quick poll. So the webinar has been brought together by superops.ai and MSP Launchpad, Louis from MSP Launchpad. So a quick, a few second intro of Superops. Superops is a modern PSA RMM platform, a unified platform built for modern MSPs. So, you know, if you would like to know more about Superops and the PSA RMM platform, here's the poll for you. And yeah, just shifting the host to Louis. Yes, Louis, yep. Over to you.
Awesome, thank you. Let me see if I can get this back up. So remember where we were at, you need to get that fraudulent protection software, right? These are things like, it sounds sad, but if you want to scale your MSP, you need to invest in everything. You need to invest in a good photo shoot. You need to invest in a good website. You need to invest in protection. You need to invest in the marketing software. You need to get all that stuff because you want to be better than the other people doing this, because only if you're better than everyone else in your market, you're going to get all the leads, right? You got to play to become number 1 or at least number 2. So it's something to keep in mind. So any suggestion on fraud software? I think we use ClickSeize is a very famous one, a little bit expensive. I think we have, wait a second. We use PPC Shield from memory. .io, I think. Try it out. Just type PPC Shield in Google, you'll find it. It's been amazing. I have no idea how many hundreds of thousands of dollars we've saved with this software. Like, it's you gotta have it. Okay, guys, I hope you're not getting sad already that we're starting to end or gets a little bit closer to the finale of this presentation, right on time, which is good. So as for SEO, we talked about it a little bit already, right? So we have local SEO and we have global SEO. And one thing to point out with SEO is that everyone is generating content with ChatGPT, and yes, you can totally do it, but you got to be smart about it, right? You got to make sure that you don't go like, hey, generate a blog on IT support, because that stuff's not even going to get indexed in Google. You need to like really dig in and talk about your product, your services, your approach, etc., 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 etc. Like, it still needs to work. Content needs to provide value in order for it to rank. Look, you can hyper optimize something and it can shoot to the first page, which is cool. But then if people click it and then they don't read it, straight back down to page 2, right? So through hyper optimization and through having the right domain authority and these kind of things, your stuff will rank, but you can use backlinks. But if the quality is not high enough, it's not going to stick. So you gotta have great content. Okay, so local and global SEO. So global SEO, you can pretty much forget about it. Just FYI, right? Because it's not gonna happen. MSPs invest hundreds of thousands of dollars, no exaggeration, per month to be #1 on SEO, right? Because it works and they're gonna win. And the largest MSPs in the world, they show up when you type IT support. Where you can still show up with IT support is when you type in your location as well. IT support Chicago, IT support Belgium, IT support the Netherlands, IT support London, whatever, your city, your township, your county, these kind of things with the location behind it is going to have less competition. But then even so, you're probably, unless you really live in like a small area, you're still going to find the competition is relatively high just because of the nature of our industry. Like, MSPs know this stuff works, right? So you're going to be competing with, well, not necessarily other MSPs, but you're going to be competing with other marketing agencies that are working on behalf of these MSPs, right? So you got to be willing to make the leap to be better than other people, or just take it slow. Maybe don't even start, just focus on other ways of putting in your own time to get leads, right? Chamber of Commerce, BNI, networking, hosting events for certain industries, etc. Like, that stuff's fantastic. Referral strategies, I love all of it. I used to be on the board of advisors to a Chamber of Commerce. I love networking, right? But at some point, as a business owner, you become too busy and you need qualified inbound leads that don't waste your time, right? So you can still get those through global SEO with the location, but this is the last place where I would go. I would first focus on local. I would then focus on Google Ads, right? And then this stuff is kind of like working on the background, because this is going to take a while to get set up. And lead volume is going to be a lot lower than with local SEO, because remember, 60 to 70% is local and then 15 to 20 is here. So you really need to be position 1 to just have any volume whatsoever, right? Kind of the reality, that's just the way it is. Okay, so you got to have outstanding articles that generate traffic for you, because if you get some traffic on your website, that will again boost your domain authority. So when people post things like blogs, like articles that answer questions, or just something a little bit more conversational, they're doing that in an effort to get traffic on their website, and that traffic gets them respect from Google, and that allows you then to aim for more competitive keywords where you need to have a certain amount of domain authority and trust and respect from Google, right? If you're going for, apologies for that, if you're going for certain keywords like IT support London, etc., you need to use content silos and pillar pages. This is geek speak. You probably want to Google exactly how this works, watch a YouTube video. But basically what it comes down to is that you have like one, let's call it mother page, the mothership, right? That's the one that you want to rank. And you want to have other supporting pages talking about similar content, right? Answering similar questions. And you want to interlink those effectively, right? And you want to make a hub, right? So that kind of hub gives extra juice and establish you as an authority on that subject, right? So those silos and pillar pages allow you to rank more effectively. And that's the reality. Like, everyone, if it's even somewhat competitive, this is a strategy that you have to apply, like no exceptions. So global SEO is very domain authority driven. Just for you guys, for your entertainment, I've kind of like identified the zones here. So 0 to 10, domain authority. So let's start with domain authority goes from 0 to 100, right? That's step 1. So domain authority goes from 0 to 100. And if you find your own domain authority, it's probably going to be below 10, unless your MSP is a little bit older, right? But your domain authority might be 2, 3, 4, 5, or something like that, which basically means rock bottom, right? It's low. 0 doesn't even get scored in the software, but 2, 3, 4, like you're in real bad shape, right? You no chance of ranking. So you need to get your DA up using things like what I explained above. Remember the first section on local SEO, the business directories, maybe paid directories. You want to have articles that generate volume, etc. So because if you go in local SEO, depending on where you are in the market, like if you live in a smaller town, there's a very good chance that you can rank on local SEO or having a DA of 10. But you need to take a look at who's ranking on local SEO now, load them into the software, and then be like, oh, this is how much DA these guys have, right? So then I probably need to be in that range as well in order to show up. And you will if you have all the services inside, more testimonials, and all the other stuff that we talked about, right? You will rank if you do those things. So 0 to 10 is really like starter level, and you won't do anything unless you're in a really small town. 10 to 20 is going to get a little bit more serious, and especially the higher 10s, let's say 16, 17, 18, 19, there's where you're going to see some maturity in the MSPs. Like this is kind of based on experience, and this is what I'm saying now is just examples, guys. So there's 100 million reasons why someone could have a DA of 16, 17, 18, 19. I'm just giving a few examples. But for example, could be a website that's like 7 years old and the company has a lot of customers, but they never optimized. Google will still trust you enough that they give you a DA in the high 10s. If you've been around a long time, you got loads of customers, they visit your website regularly because Google knows like, okay, we can trust this guy, right? But 20 to 30 is really where you see more optimization. Like no way you get there without blogs and articles. And I mean, actually 10 to 20 usually already as well. You really need to have an old website and a great brand to get in the higher 10s. But the 20 to 30 range is already starting to become a lot more rare for MSPs. And most of the time in the 20 to 30s, like you can find spots on local SEO, even in places that are a little bit more competitive, right? You really can. You just got to search. And 20 to 30 is like, it's already an effort to get there. You know, it's not small. If you're in the late 20s, you can have thousands of visitors on your website a month. Well, 1,000 is a bit much, but let's say I would expect between 5 to 1,500 visitors on your website a month. Just sucking this out of my thumb, kind of roughly based on experience, guys. So again, don't take this as like gospel, please. But 5 to 1,500 visitors a month in your later 20s. And then between 30 and 40, you're dominating, right? Very few MSPs have this. If you have this, like you can take over London, no joke, right? So this is where you want to work towards. Might take a few years, but having London is real nice, right? You'll grow fast, very fast, probably faster than you can imagine right now. And then above 40 is reserved only for very large multinational MSPs, and this is incredibly rare, right? So that's just, you don't really need to worry about this. If you can get yourself in the get out of 10, get above 10 to start, then you can start doing the first things and get your first bits of traffic, etc. If you can get to the 20, 30 range, and you can, it's just a matter of consistency. You're good, right? You'll make money. And 30 to 40, you won't just make money. You'll like need a shovel to take it all to the bank because it's overwhelming and you're struggling to hire engineers. And it's a whole nother world of problems. Don't trust marketing agencies without doing a DA check yourself. You probably want to become at least marketing savvy enough, like really as a business owner, that you can kind of check keywords and how long it would take to rank for those keywords based on your DA versus that of the competition. Like, I know I just said this. I know this sounds like Chinese to you, but watch it back in this video. And when you hire a marketing agency, make sure that you can do what I just said that you should do, right? You should be able to check things like DA and keywords that you're bidding on and whether or not what they're saying is realistic. Because people are promising you the moon, but this industry is not the same as other industries. And realism is very important when it comes to marketing because that's how you have a fruitful multi-year relationship, right? Also for SEO, because there's so much garbage now with ChatGPT, your own experience, your own story, your own products, custom stuff is more important than ever before, right? So whatever you do, make it you, right? It helps. And then combine it with all the DA raising stuff I mentioned in the local SEO section. Okay, so I think that was about, I don't know, 40, 50 minutes. Guys, did you appreciate that? Was that helpful? That's awesome. My pleasure, guys. Really nice to help. I think we still have maybe 1, 2, 3 minutes for Q&A. So you can jump in and ask me questions, and then I'll answer them. I'll just do a few that pop up.
And in the meantime, I'll also run the second poll. Yeah.
Oh, please go ahead. What's the best way to get the mind map? That's a good question. How about, shall I just dump it in the chat now? Is that helpful? Just give me a moment. There you go, guys. So I put this. Oh, wait, is this to everyone? No, I think this is not to everyone. I'm going to put it to everyone now. Here's the mind map in the chat. So for this poll, if you'd like to know more about MSP Launchpad, I actually had a final slide, but I'll just tell you guys. So our website obviously is msplaunchpad.com, right? We rank well on Google. Surprise, we're a marketing agency. So if you type MSP website or MSP whatever, will likely show up. So msplaunchpad.com, and send us a note if you're interested in having a chat. Like very happy to take a look at your accounts. Can't promise you anything because it really depends on you and where you're at, but always happy to start a conversation. Be my pleasure to help you guys. Thank you, Adekola, for sharing.
And we've got 2 questions in the Q&A, Louis.
Please go ahead.
Yeah.
Where can I find them?
Yeah, so you can find them in the bottom Q&A section. Yeah, the questions will be available there.
My MSP doesn't have an office space. All our workers are remote. How do we get photos in this situation? Or should we focus on photos at client sites instead? Is there a disadvantage to not having an office space? There's multiple disadvantages. So I will mention the first. You guys can all hear me, right? Just give me a quick yes in the chat again. Okay, cool. So there's multiple disadvantages to being remote only, unfortunately, right? So the whole local SEO thing is dependent on you having an office space in that local area. It's kind of like being a restaurant. So you need to have some form of office space. People will never visit it. You can just do your home location. You could do whatever, but it does need to have a front door. If it's just a post box, Google will delist you once they find out, until you have like an actual office. So it can just be a front door in a co-working space, or it could be a home or whatever, but you want to have a physical location because that radius around that is where you're going to do your local SEO. As for the photos, I mean, there's loads of ways that you can solve this. Doing it with customers, having just 3 employees together at a time and taking a nice picture, making sure that everyone takes a little bit of a consistent photo at home, and maybe people work from home with branded t-shirts, and then let them take those pictures with their iPhones, and then you get someone to clean out the backside, right? So the short answer is just be creative, right? As long as people feel like they can trust the person that is running the business and kind of like match their identity almost, then you should be good. What you want to avoid is just having a website without your face on it. What's the best site tool to get SEO score and tell you what needs to be done to make it better? I mean, you're gonna need a few tools, but SEMrush, which I mentioned before, it's a great starting point. It's not particularly cheap, but it does nearly everything. And I would tell you to get that one.
That's great. So if there are any other questions, maybe a few minutes before we end this session, if there are any questions, please feel free to ask them in the Q&A section or in the chat box.
Hey guys, I know this was a little bit rushed, but I want to also mention that I appreciate having had the opportunity to speak to you guys. I know you're super busy. I know you're all like serious and hoping to grow your business, especially in a way that just generates inbound leads, right? Which would be nice for once. So I hope that you use this information and just apply it, right? Some things like these quick wins, just execute on them. Like it will make a difference in your business. So just, yeah, just if it's just a webinar and you don't execute, it doesn't really do anything, right?
There's one final question in the Q&A.
Let me take a look. Yes, Ike, that's correct. So SEMrush will help you with the DA check. In fact, you can also see the DA of other websites, right? So you can see the key, you can find all the keywords that you think you want to chase. You can find your DA, and you can also find, let's say, the top 10 ranking of all the people that are ranking for that keyword. And then you can check out their individual DAs and how many backlinks they have. And then you can compare that to your DA and your situation. And then you can kind of like make an educated guess on how long it would take to rank for that. But in order to take that step, you probably want to watch some YouTube videos or read SEMrush's tutorials.
Yep.
All right.
That's great. If you've got feedback on the session, please let us know in the chat box. So if you have ideas on how we can make this better as well, or if you want other follow-up sessions, please let us know so that we'll be able to have them arranged. Yeah. No. And once again, thanks everyone for joining us in this session. Hope it was really useful for all of you. Meet you in another webinar. Until then, bye.
Thanks a lot, guys. Bye.